Over the last couple weeks, Sins of a Solar Empire 2 has seen the release of both the free Ivan's Fine update and the paid Reinforcements DLC. Since that's happened, I've played a couple games of Sins 2 with the DLC, as well as jumping back to Sins Rebellion to play the newly released Star Wars Strike Groups mod by the team behind Star Trek Armada 3, also for Rebellion. Today I wanted to give some quick thoughts on the Reinforcements DLC, as well as talk about some of the comments which came up from the videos I released playing the Strike Groups mod. Specifically talking about whether it is time to move over to Sins 2 for players who haven't yet, and what modding is going to look like for Sins 2 in the next few months. First, one thing that really stood out to me playing Strike Groups and then going to Sins 2 with the Reinforcements DLC, and then going back to Strike Groups again, was just how much I miss some of the improvements that Sins 2 has made to the game. This is in no way a shot at Strike Groups, but one of the most common things I see in comments on Sins 2 videos, or even something that I actually heard from my friend while we were playing Sins 2, was whether or not there's actually anything different about the game. And leaving aside any graphical upgrades, or especially new mechanics like the planet orbits, which I enjoyed a lot more than I thought I would, the best way I can kind of explain the difference is that quality of life-wise, Sins 2 essentially plays the way you think you remember playing Sins Rebellion, and all that quality of life stuff is something you'll really start to miss once you're playing without it. For example, while playing Rebellion now, I find myself really missing things like the fleet management systems, allowing you to build replacement ships from the fleet directly and have them automatically join from any shipyards you have. The additional planet management and ship management menus also make it far easier to engage with many of the elements which were carried over from Sins Rebellion. Planet and ship items and upgrades play a much bigger role in Sins 2 than they did in Sins 1. In Rebellion, the upgrades were mostly just on your star bases and your Titan, but even then it could be hard to manage because you had to go through those and your capital ships individually to manage ability upgrades and all that. And going through all of your planets individually to make sure you had built everything you wanted could also be a bit daunting, so it was something that I would often kind of let fall by the wayside. But in Sins 2, these menus really make it far more manageable. I've already done enough videos talking about other mechanical changes between the games, but this was the first time that I'd played full games of Rebellion and Sins 2 so close together, and those are the kinds of things that really stood out to me. Again, this doesn't mean Sins Rebellion is a bad game, or that mods for it are bad or not worth playing still, but I think for anyone who's been hesitant to make the jump and pick up Sins 2 as well, if you already enjoy Sins Rebellion, I really do still feel it's worth it. And it'll only get more worth it as mods start coming out for Sins 2. And that's the other thing that came up a lot on the Strike Groups videos, asking why the mod didn't just release for Sins 2. As anyone who follows this channel probably knows, it takes a long time to make mods, and the team behind Strike Groups started production before it was even possible to mod Sins 2, which only received full modding tools relatively recently on the cosmic scale of modding. We're probably still a bit away from full total conversions coming out at the same level of development or polish that you can see with the long-standing Rebellion community, but we have started seeing some of those kinds of projects start to release, pushing me even further in the direction of believing it's about time to make that upgrade if you haven't yet. If you look at the mod.io page for Sins 2, there's been some early releases for major Rebellion mods making their first forays into Sins 2, like an early alpha version of Star Trek Armada 4, Stargate Races, and another mod adding in the Galactic Empire from Star Wars. Again, it'll still be some time before they're as complete as you might expect from a Rebellion mod, but we are getting there. The mod tools released for Sins 2 are far more accessible than the ones for Rebellion as well. On top of model rigging being easier, as far as I know, I haven't looked into this too much, there are some community-made tools making it easier to just directly convert models that are rigged for Rebellion to Sins 2. Stardock itself has even been working on other similar conversion tools. There's been a new mapping tool released this month which, aside from being more user-friendly in creating new maps, allows you to easily convert layouts from Rebellion. So there's still a lot to look forward to in Sins modding. I'd like to do a video specifically on the mods which are available in the nearest future, so remember to subscribe if you're interested in that. As far as Reinforcements goes itself, the main additions are new battleship classes somewhere between your Titans and regular capital ships for each faction, and a new victory condition for each faction. In theory, I like the changes, but I think especially for a paid DLC, the value you get is going to depend on how you play Sins. If you play on much bigger maps or play much longer games, you'll probably get a lot more out of this DLC than if you play on smaller maps where even Titans are already a fairly rare sight. I typically play on smaller maps, or at least I have been recently, and while the ships have been cool when I've been able to use them, they've been coming in late enough that I haven't engaged with them all that much. So really part of the takeaway there is that I don't even know enough about the DLC content to really review it. But at the same time, with me having played those games and not being exposed to them that much, that may help you decide whether it's going to be a DLC that you get a ton of use out of as well. That's going to do it for today though, thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments what your experience with Reinforcements or Sins 2 modding has been.